it possible the ancient Egyptians could have encountered alien beings that had an insect-like appearance?
A war was started between the giants and the Paiute people.
Today, we are ready to dive into some of the craziest archaeological discoveries from around the world.
This was put here 1,500 years ago by Celts who came here and made a monument to their god Mithras.
Are you ready? Well then, hold on tight, take out your fossil brush, and let's dig in. Number 1. The machines of the old civilizations. An image popped up on the internet of hieroglyphs that showed different kinds of symbols that looked a lot like helicopters, submarines, and planes. A tourist went to the site to see if the symbols were there. He couldn't spot anything. Another tourist went and claimed that they were there, but the walls were breaking apart. That's why some of the symbols might not be as clear as they were before. It is unclear whether the image is credible. But if it's true, it won't come as a big surprise. There have been a lot of clues and symbols in the hieroglyphs that link to modern aircraft. Experts believe that the Egyptians had some advanced technology back then.
Professor Messier supported his thesis by pointing out that many Egyptian tombs had tiny replicas of items that the recently deceased and mummified could want in the hereafter.
Such as a flying machine. At least they tried to make it. Perhaps they even succeeded. Number 2. The symbol and the sun. There are many carvings left behind by ancient Egyptians, but this one is pretty fascinating. The archaeologists found ancient symbols that they couldn't quite recognize. It looked like a bison, but they weren't sure if that was the actual animal. While they were busy figuring that out, a much more interesting thing was waiting to baffle them. The hieroglyph tucked away in the back of the cave was not just a simple art. It had a whole show set up for its audience.
This was put here 1,500 years ago by Celts who came here and made a monument to their god Mithras.
The hieroglyph shows a figure with the sun over his head, riding on the same animal that the scientists think is a bison. But the interesting thing about this hieroglyph is that it can light up. A small gap in the cave controls how the sun shines over the hieroglyph. At its peak, the hieroglyphs light up, but just as it is going down the horizon, the light mimics the sun and starts to get dimmer. The sun sets and the entire hieroglyph covers itself in the shadows. It is nothing short of remarkable. Number 3. The Sphinx's mysterious location. The Sphinx is perhaps the most iconic piece of architecture in Egypt. Well, aside from the pyramids of Giza. But did you know it hides a shocking secret? Experts think that there were hidden passages underneath the Sphinx that led to a secret underground city or a portal to another dimension. A historical figure once wrote about an ancient city buried deep in Egypt.
This enigmatic structure remained buried until the time of Professor Salim Hassan, who many regard as the greatest of all Egyptian-born archaeologists or Egyptologists.
It had a special place known as the Hall of Records, holding the secrets of the world. Archaeologists have never been able to find that hidden labyrinth, but there are a lot of speculations about where it could be. And that is not just because of lack of trying. The Egyptian government does not allow the search. They don't allow for excavations near the Sphinx. So the hollow spaces identified under the Sphinx cannot be examined closely. The government does have a good reason. They don't want to risk damaging the Sphinx. But is that all there is to it? Could there be a deeper hidden reason why the search has been halted? Well, I wouldn't put it past authorities to hide something they don't want found. Do you think the library is tucked away underneath the Sphinx? Number 4. The Winged Brooch. Scientists recently unearthed something puzzling from the Egyptian lands. This is a brooch that looks a lot like a winged insect, but only from afar. That's only until you look closely. In fact, scientists say that it is not a winged insect at all. No animal has wings on the lower parts of the body, unlike this brooch that says otherwise. Neither birds nor insects. All winged animals have them at the upper side of the body. So, is this the brooch of an alien-type animal? Scientists had a different theory. They believe that it is the model of an airplane. But it isn't any average design. The Egyptians put a lot of work into this tiny brooch. That is why it is modeled exactly like the delta wings of an airplane. That, along with many other subtle signs of hieroglyphs, has gotten the scientists thinking, did the ancient Egyptians know how to fly an aircraft? Number 5. The Aztecs and their legends. In Mexico, there lie the ruins of the Aztecs.
Teotihuacan is such a city, and 1,000 years of civilization which can still be felt today along its wide avenues.
It is the first known settlement of the Aztec civilization. but their historical texts say otherwise. The Aztecs claim that their ancestors came from a cave that hosted 7 different caverns. Their 7 primary tribes nested in these chambers, and that's how the civilization came into being. The cave has always remained a myth, but experts think it is hidden deep inside the Pyramid of the Sun at the Teotihuacan. There was a tunnel that was unearthed recently, showing hundreds and thousands of different artifacts hidden there. But there's more! The Aztec hieroglyphs show legend claiming that a gigantic flint knife landed on Earth and out came 1600 beings that created them. The Aztecs think that they were made by other beings in these secret buds. If that is the case, could the Aztecs have witnessed an extraterrestrial event that took place thousands of years ago? Number 6. The mysterious Golden Orbs. At the Temple of the Serpent in Teotihuacan,
The Serpent's temple was so important, it was enclosed by a citadel. Walls over 7 meters high had only a single entrance, making it easy to defend.
the scientists made a startling discovery. They found a secret tunnel underneath the temple, about 45 feet below. When the archaeologists went down there to see the tunnel, they found it blocked with debris. With a robot, they dug through the rubble and found something strange. It opened up into a side tunnel that was covered with tiny yellow orbs. They were unlike anything they had ever seen before. The orbs were made up of clay, but covered in a yellow layer of what looked like gold. The walls, just like the orbs, were covered in the same gold flecks. The scientists think that it must have been a ritual site of some sort that would have lit up in the dark. But there is another theory. Many believe these orbs could be a representation of the planets, and the walls present the stars. Did the humans back then know about the planets and space with such depth? Now that's a mind-bender. Number 7. The precision at the Karnak Temple. Scientists are baffled by the precision that was seen at the Karnak Temple. They cannot explain it. The obelisks are the first thing you see that are standing perfectly erect. They have the same signs on all of their 4 sides, at the same place, showing not even a single sign of error. Plus, there are rotation marks on the structure that are too perfect to be done by hand. If you go a little farther, you will spot the Ramses statue. Experts took 2 pictures of the statue and placed them over on another by inverting one of them. The images matched exactly with one another at all points, puzzling the scientists even more. They don't think that precision like that could have been possible even in the last century. Today, if you design a similar model, you might get the same precision. But here is the thing. The ancient Egyptians reportedly did not have any such tools or electricity that could have helped them make these smooth structures with perfect symmetry and geometry. The tools that were unearthed are too primitive to design something like this. If they had those tools and advanced machinery, where are they? Did someone take them away after the civilizations were wiped off? Who has them? All we have are questions. Number 8. The Mayan Secret. Mexico is home to some of the most interesting ancient civilizations in history. Chief among them are the Aztecs and the Mayans. There were a lot of clues and artifacts connecting back to the Aztec civilization. But the scientists didn't know they would find something else there. Mayan artifacts. About 200 artifacts were unearthed at a site. But here is the twist. These artifacts were hidden away, deep in a cave away from sight. What were the Mayans hiding? More importantly, from whom? An explanation could be the artifacts were being hidden from the church's persecution. But is that really it? Here is something that will blow your mind. Even bones were found in there. Now that adds a twist of creepy. Whatever the mysterious reason for hiding all this may be, it is a fascinating find nonetheless. Number 9. Who built the Osirion? The Osirion is a pretty strange site. It has a lot of anomalies that remain unexplained, even today. The structure itself is quite massive and built with such intricate details that scientists have no clue how the ancient civilizations built it. Carrying the giant stones from such a huge distance from the main city and stacking them over one another is no easy feat. How could they have possibly done it without any machinery? Plus, the structure has graphite blocks tucked away in many corners of the buildings. To use graphite and to refine it with primitive tools is not possible. History shows that the people back then did not have any tools that could have toned and cut the graphite. Experts cannot figure out how the ancient people built this giant structure. To add more to the mystery, they aren't sure if Egyptians even built the Osirion. There are no hieroglyphs in any corner of the structure. This is quite unusual, as the ancient Egyptians always flex their history in the structures they built. Even if they were renovating a building, the old hieroglyphs were replaced by the newer ones. If they didn't build it, who did? Number 10. Water at the Osirion. One of the great mysteries of the Osirion is the water keeping the structure afloat. Experts believe that what we see of the structure is only half of it. The rest is hidden under the water, holding more secrets that are waiting to be unraveled.
The water that is coming up into the Osirion is not Nile water. It's nothing to do with the river water. They've chemically tested it. It is completely different, separate water source.
But here is the problem. There's no way to remove the water. One of the scientists tried to remove the water by using a high-pressure pump. It was capable of pumping out 500 gallons of water in a single minute. It could have left the structure dry, but it didn't. When he tried to pump the water out, the water in the structure kept filling up with more pressure than the one the pump was exerting. They were in the middle of the desert. Where was the water even coming from? And that too, in such a high pressure. He was unable to spot the source of the water, or crack the mystery of how it was filling up this fast. Number 11. The Egyptian crime scene. You've only heard about the 3 main pyramids, but there are many more interesting ones around the region like this one. The archaeologists found it sealed, buried under sand and blocks of limestone. The pyramid was nearly 4,000 years old, and the massive capstone was blocking the entrance. But that was about to change. The team dug through the entrance, removing the capstone, only to reveal the horrors inside. Somebody had robbed the pyramid. The team was pretty shocked, trying to figure out what they were looking at. Apparently, they had walked into a crime scene. But who would go through all the trouble to eventually seal the pyramid? Number 12. Valley Temple of Kafr. Pyramids have already riddled scientists for decades. But imagine another Egyptian structure, unlike any other found in the region, that also puts a question mark on how it was constructed. Welcome to the Valley Temple of the Kafr.
Egyptologists say that the temple served both for the pharaoh Khafre's mummification process and his purification before he was laid to rest in the pyramid.
This place is located near the Sphinx of Giza, and its construction remains a huge mystery. It is made up of giant limestone blocks polished with granite. Everything about that statement is pretty shocking, isn't it? But there's more. The structure has held its foundation for centuries, and experts think it has something to do with its advanced construction. The limestone blocks used in the structure easily weigh over 150 tons, but they are stacked over one another, cut with precision, and fitted with granite stones. These methods are not found in other structures, nor do they fit well into the modern human mind. Some experts think that there was an ancient civilization before the Egyptians that had advanced knowledge. But if it was this useful, how did it manage to die? How did they transport the stones? What techniques helped them build this durable structure? How did they manage to use granite without any power tools? All have left is unanswered questions. Number 13. Zavar AlAran. One of the biggest controversial sites in Egypt is Zavar AlAran. The site was closed by the Egyptian government a long time ago, and the archaeologists were not allowed to excavate here. To make it more interesting, people claim that the site was buried by the authorities. What were they trying to hide? Early pictures of the structure suggests that it was a feat of engineering marvel. The site held a T-shaped shaft that was cut 100 feet into the bedrock. The shaft's walls were reported to be completely smooth and almost perfect. That's not all. There was a pit at the site that looked as if it was intentionally blocked. A large number of massive limestone blocks were put at the entrance of the tunnel.
As Basanti reached the bottom of the pit, he noted that the pavement blocks, some granite, some limestone, were connected together with a very solid mortar.
The team excavated the site and found a 30-ton pink granite stone. There were multiple stones scattered all over the place. The team thinks that they found the entrance to a portal. Before they could do something about it, the authorities closed the site and ended the dream of archaeologists uncovering its secrets. Number 14. Tannis. In the ancient city of Tannis lies the remains of a statue that is expected to be the largest in the world. The foot fragment of the statue shows that it stood tall, well over 120 feet. The estimated weight of the statue was set at 1,400 tons. Experts are going insane over this new discovery. Who could have possibly built these massive structures, that too from granite? And even if they managed to somehow construct this structure, what tore it down? What catastrophic event brought the whole landscape to a pile of rubble? There is no known vegetation on this land despite the region's surroundings being very fertile. Scientists think that nature might have had something to do with the destruction, wiping the city from the map of the earth. Number 15. Serapium of Sakara. Hidden in the region of Sakara, there exists a structure so unique that it has puzzled scientists for centuries. The Serapium is a set of ruins that host something extraordinary. 24 giant boxes made up of granite.
Look at the work done on these hieroglyphs. The people who made this were masters of their work.
These boxes are massive, weighing about a ton and stretching to nearly 13 feet. But they are no ordinary boxes. They appear well crafted, cut, and polished. They are made with such precision that it seems impossible for them to exist in the Bronze Age. Granite is the hardest substance known to man. To build these giant boxes with precise angles with simple tools is not practically possible. To add more to the mystery, the boxes had a lid, but there were no remains found inside. Plus, Egyptians are known to stamp inscriptions on their art. This one was bare, an empty bare box. This has led to a lot of speculation in the scientific community. Why was it built if not to put mummies inside? Was it used for something else entirely? I guess we will never know. Number 16. The Dendera Light. Many experts have talked about the possibility of electricity in the ancient times. This is because of the many clues hinting to the fact that Egyptians might have had some advanced technology. But one such hieroglyph has sent shockwaves around the world, confirming that theory. At the Hathor Temple, the hieroglyph shows an object that looks a lot like a light bulb. The resemblance is uncanny. There is a lotus-shaped base, a snake running in the center of the bulb like a filament, and the bulbous shape of the light bulb itself. The light bulbs appear to be sitting at a power source that seems to be illuminating them. But here is the catch. They are sitting on what looks like the jet pillar that experts believe looks a lot like the Tesla coil. Do you think the Egyptians had access to the electricity? Or is it a mere form of symbolism? Number 17. The Secrets of Aswan. There is an obelisk in Egypt whose discovery was pretty shocking. The towering piece of granite stretched to over 137 feet, weighing well over 1,000 tons. If this marvel would have been completed, it would have been the tallest stone structure made by the ancient Egyptians. That's not all. There are all these weird holes in the sand that are too perfect to be made by man. They are assumed to be drilled through machinery, but there is no sign of such advanced tools. The holes run 30 feet deep. There are also perfect-shaped vertical walls near the obelisk that seem to be too smooth for Bronze Age tools to create. There's more. Underneath the obelisk, there are scooping marks that are assumed to be done through advanced tools. But what nobody can answer is what these tools were and where they are right now. Number 18. The Ark of Covenant. The Temple Mount is a sacred place for the Jews. There have been a lot of excavations to hunt and track the Ark of Covenant. Archaeologists believe that there might have been a small tunnel about 10 feet away from the temple. It looked like an escape hatch that could have allowed the people inside to smuggle out the Ark. There are wild stories in history suggesting that people may have taken the Ark out, but the mystery still remains. Where is it now? Number 19. History of Giants. One interesting discovery was made in the Lovelock Cave. About 45 skeletons were unearthed that were well over 8 to 9 feet. These skeletons also had tufts of red hair scattered near the remains. Experts have no hesitation in claiming that they could have been giants. A historical figure claims that a battle took place between humans and giants a long time ago. These giants were red-haired and they were cannibals. The humans grew so tired of them that they waged war on the giants, stuffed them in the Lovelock Cave, and left.
And the Paiute people stuffed the openings with a bunch of brush and firewood and lit the place on fire.
Do you think it really happened? Number 20. Osiris Mystery. The Osiris Hall secrets are not something that you might be able to digest. Peeking into the hieroglyphs at the Osiris Hall, scientists found a strange symbol on top of Osiris's head. The pharaoh is often seen with a symbol that looks like the sun over his head.
Is it possible the ancient Egyptians could have encountered alien beings that had an insect-like appearance?
There is a lot of debate among scientists about this very symbol. While some think that it is merely to show the people were worshipping the sun, there is another very interesting theory. Experts think that the Egyptians have shown the sun with wings across many hieroglyphs. Experts think that Osiris might not have been just any local deity. His story tells that he was dismembered by his jealous brother. His wife then went on a hunt and rescue mission to track his remains and put them together. She managed to put all the 14 pieces together and magically resurrected him. Now, it begs one important question. Could Osiris have been a robot? How else can you explain his dismemberment and then being put back together? Number 21. The Secrets of Sakara. In many Egyptian tombs, you will spot a few hieroglyphs that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Tucked away in Sakara, there is the Pyramid of King Teti. The hieroglyphs on these tombs are nothing short of insane. It suggests that Teti will be taken away to meet other lords in the afterlife. There are multiple tombs and burial sites that have been built with a lot of detail in mind. The lords and the kings were buried with hundreds of things to help them into the afterlife. What's eerie are the details. It is almost like he is going to another dimension. Number 22. The tiny stone balls. These tiny stone balls, called the Neolithic stone balls, were discovered years ago, but they remain as unexplainable as ever. A total of 425 balls have been unearthed until now, but rarely does one resemble the other. What's strange is that they were almost always found alone and at different sites. Some of them were at burials of the ancient people, while others were tucked away at settlements. Nobody knows why. Scientists even fail to explain how they were used. Some of these balls are more battered than others. Does that mean they were used as weapons? The intricate details and design on the balls tell a different story. Were they merely paperweights? I guess we will never know. That's all, folks. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Which mystery intrigued you the most? Did we leave something out? Let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye.